What if Santa Claus wasn't coming to reward you? What if he was coming to punish you? We're breaking down one of the most controversial Christmas horror franchises ever made. This is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. The story begins on Christmas Eve, 1971, with a young boy named Billy Chapman. Billy visits his grandfather at a mental hospital. The old man suddenly snaps out of his catatonic state and delivers a terrifying warning. Santa Claus doesn't just reward good children, he punishes the naughty ones. Later, that warning becomes reality. That same night, Billy's family encounters a man dressed as Santa Claus. The man murders Billy's father, then rapes and kills Billy's mother while Billy watches helplessly. From that moment on, Santa becomes permanently fused with violence, fear, and punishment in Billy's mind. Billy and his younger brother Ricky are sent to St. Mary's Orphanage, where Billy's trauma only gets worse. He's abused physically and psychologically by Mother Superior, a nun who constantly repeats one mantra: punishment is necessary, punishment is good. Billy is beaten for minor infractions, tied to his bed after nightmares, and forced to sit on Santa's lap, triggering a full panic response. Fast forward to 1984. Billy is now 18, working at a toy store and trying to live a normal life. Christmas is approaching and the pressure mounts. He's bullied by a coworker, plagued by sexual guilt, and finally pushed over the edge when he's forced to dress up as Santa Claus. When a little girl cries on his lap, Billy snaps, repeating the same twisted belief he's carried since childhood: naughty children must be punished. That night, Billy walks in on his coworker Andy attempting to rape Pamela, a woman Billy cares about. This triggers Billy's childhood trauma. He puts on the Santa suit and he embraces his role. He hangs Andy with Christmas lights. Pamela is killed while Billy echoes Mother Superior's words: punishment is good. Billy murders everyone in the store using hammers, axes, even a bow and arrow before heading into the streets to continue Santa's work. Billy begins punishing anyone he deems sinful. He spares a little girl who claims she's been good, even giving her a gift, proving that in Billy's fractured mind, he truly believes he is Santa Claus. Sister Margaret, the only adult who ever showed Billy kindness, realizes the truth too late. Billy's final destination is the orphanage. Police flood the area, but chaos erupts when they accidentally kill an innocent priest dressed as Santa. The real Santa is already inside. Billy murders a police officer and confronts Mother Superior with an axe. She screams, "There is no Santa Claus!" Billy snaps, shouts naughty, and prepares to kill her. He's shot dead by police. As he dies, Billy softly tells the children, "You're safe now. Santa Claus is gone." As Billy lies dead, his younger brother Ricky stares at Mother Superior and quietly whispers, "Naughty?" setting the stage for everything that comes next, because in Part 2, Ricky takes over. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Part 2, 1987. The film picks up 4 years after the original massacre. Ricky is sitting in a psychiatric hospital, calmly recounting a series of murders to Dr. Henry Bloom. Yes, most of this movie is Ricky retelling the first film through flashbacks. Once we finally get past that, things get unhinged fast. After Billy's death, Ricky is adopted by the Rosenbergs, a Jewish family who give him a stable, loving upbringing. But there's one problem. No one ever deals with his trauma. Christmas, Santa, punishment. It's all still there, just buried. When Ricky's adoptive father dies, the last piece holding him together snaps. Ricky briefly seems like he might have a normal life when he starts dating Jennifer, but her aggressive ex-boyfriend Chip humiliates Ricky publicly, and that's all it takes. Ricky lures Chip to a car and electrocutes him using jumper cables, forcing Jennifer to watch. When Jennifer screams that she hates him, Ricky strangles her to death with a car antenna. A security guard witnesses the crime. Ricky shoots him point blank. Now the body count explodes. Ricky goes on a full shooting spree, killing random neighbors, including a man simply taking out his trash. Eventually, he's cornered by police and attempts suicide, but survives. Back in the present, after finishing his story, Ricky calmly strangles Dr. Bloom with an audio tape, escapes the hospital, and kills a Salvation Army Santa to steal his suit, because Ricky's mission isn't finished. One final person must be punished. Ricky tracks down Mother Superior. Ricky chases her through her house and decapitates her with an axe. finally delivering the punishment Billy never could. When police arrive, Ricky jumps out screaming but is shot multiple times. An officer turns to Sister Mary and says, "He's gone, sister. It's over." But then Ricky opens his eyes and smiles. Part 2 doubles down on the idea that trauma spreads like a disease. Billy was just the beginning, and somehow Santa Claus still isn't finished, because next up, the series takes a very strange turn with Part 3. Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better Watch Out. 1989. Ricky Caldwell somehow survives being shot at the end of Part 2 and spends the next 6 years in a coma. Doctors repair his shattered skull by installing a clear dome into his head, giving him one of the strangest looks in slasher history. This doesn't stop anyone from making things worse. Enter Dr. Newberry, an unhinged psychiatrist who decides the best way to study Ricky is by psychically connecting him to a blind clairvoyant named Laura. Through repeated mental link sessions, Laura unknowingly becomes tethered to Ricky's mind. On Christmas Eve, that connection wakes him up. A drunken hospital worker dressed as Santa wanders into Ricky's room and taunts him. Ricky kills him, murders a receptionist, escapes the hospital, and begins following Laura, who can now hear him through their psychic bond. Laura leaves town with her brother Chris and his girlfriend Jerry, unaware Ricky is tracking them. Along the way, Ricky kills a motorist, a gas station attendant, and eventually reaches Laura's grandmother's house. The grandmother tries to be kind and offers Ricky a Christmas gift, but he kills her. Laura senses something is wrong, but no one listens until the car is sabotaged, the phone lines are dead, and Ricky begins stalking the house. He attacks, nearly kills Jerry, and stabs Chris in the chest. Meanwhile, Dr. Newberry abandons the police to confront Ricky himself because he doesn't want his experiment ruined. Predictably, Ricky kills him too. Laura and Jerry barricade themselves inside the house, but Ricky breaks in and kills Jerry anyway. Laura briefly touches Ricky's face, feels the artificial skull cap, and recoils in horror. This enrages him. Laura is attacked, surrounded by visions of her dead grandmother, and nearly strangled to death. At the last second, Chris appears and shoots Ricky, but the shotgun fires blanks. Ricky overpowers him, and just when Laura is about to die, she holds out a broken stick. Ricky lunges forward and impales himself. Police arrive too late. Dr. Newberry dies. Ricky appears dead again. As Laura is taken away, she calmly wishes the lieutenant Merry Christmas. Then, in a bizarre final moment, Laura has a vision of Ricky staring directly at the camera, smiling and saying, "And a Happy New Year." Next up, Part 4, where Santa disappears, cult horror takes over, and things somehow get even stranger. Silent Night, Deadly Night. 4. Initiation, 1990. After Part 3, the series does something unbelievable. It abandons Santa Claus entirely. No Billy, no Ricky, no Christmas killer. Instead, it becomes a surreal occult body horror film about cults, feminism, and spontaneous human combustion. The story follows Kim Levitt, a journalist stuck editing classified ads while the men in her office, especially her boyfriend Hank, get all the real opportunities. When a woman mysteriously bursts into flames and jumps to her death, Kim decides to investigate the case on her own. Her search leads her to FEMA, a strange bookstore owner who gives Kim a book about feminism and the occult. Inside is a chapter about Lilith, Adam's mythical first wife and the spirit of chaos, fire, and rebellion. From that moment on, Kim's life begins to unravel. Kim is slowly drawn into a secret group led by FEMA, along with an elderly woman named Catherine and a young girl named Jane. They tell Kim that Lilith represents feminine power, transformation, and destruction. At first, Kim is intrigued, then things turn disturbing. FEMA drugs Kim with tea and forces her to eat what looks like a roach-like creature. Kim awakens during a ritual. A rat is cut open above her, a giant larva is inserted into her body, then emerges from her mouth as a massive insect. Its remains are smeared across her face. Kim later wakes up fully dressed, unsure if any of it was real, but the horror continues. A cult member named Ricky murders Hank in Kim's apartment. When Kim calls for help, her co-worker Janice arrives and sides with the cult, welcoming Kim to the family. Kim is abducted and locked inside a meat freezer where she's sexually assaulted as part of the initiation ritual. Her body begins to change. her fingers knot together. Her legs fuse into something insect-like. When Kim goes to the police, all evidence of Hank's murder is gone. At the newspaper's Christmas party, she's told Hank is away on assignment. Janice again welcomes her to the cult. Kim realizes the truth, she's being transformed, and there's only one way out. On Christmas Eve, Kim is forced to kidnap Hank's teenage brother to complete the ritual. Ricky murders Hank's parents and sets their house on fire. On a rooftop, Kim is ordered to kill the boy, but instead, she stabs Fema. In the chaos, a giant larva consumes Ricky. As Kim's body begins to ignite, she does the unthinkable. She plunges her burning fused hands into Fema's wound, transferring the curse of Lilith back to her. Engulfed in flames, Fema leaps from the rooftop just like her daughter before her. Part 4 ditches slashers for cult horror, and somehow Part 5 ditches both, replacing them with killer toys and evil magic. Silent Night, Deadly Night. 5. The Toy Maker, 1991. Part 5 once again drops all continuity from the previous movies. Instead, we get a Christmas horror movie about killer toys, mad inventors, and one extremely traumatized child. Late one night, a young boy named Derek Quinn finds a Christmas present waiting on his porch. His father, Tom, opens it. It's a Santa-shaped musical orb. When activated, the toy suddenly strangles Tom with retractable cords, causing him to fall and impale himself on a fireplace poker. Derek witnesses everything, and from that moment on, he stops speaking entirely. 2 weeks later, Derek's mother, Sarah, takes him to a toy store owned by elderly World War II veteran Joe Petto and his strange son, Pino. Derek rejects every toy. Meanwhile, a mysterious man named Noah Adams, recently discharged from the military, follows them. When Joe's business continues to fail, he drunkenly takes his rage out on Pino, hinting that something is very wrong in this family. Noah buys several toys and begins inspecting them. One of them, a bug-like doll called Larry the Larvae, ends up killing Noah's landlord by crawling into his mouth and bursting out through his eye. More gifts appear. One is thrown away. When another child opens it, hidden rockets inside a pair of roller skates send him flying into traffic, leaving him hospitalized. Joe, drunk and furious, beats Pino again and accidentally kills him, or so it seems. Noah later confronts Sarah and reveals the truth. He's Derek's biological father. They reconcile just as things spiral out of control. That night, Joe unleashes his toys on Derek's babysitter and her boyfriend, killing the boyfriend and abducting Derek. Sarah and Noah race to the toy store. Joe attacks Noah with weaponized toys, knocking him out. Inside the store, Sarah confronts Joe, who reveals the truth. Pino isn't human, he's a robot. Joe built Pino to replace his dead son and repeatedly rebuilt him after drunken beatings. Pino overpowers Joe, reveals his plan to kill Derek and replace him, and sexually assaults Sarah. Sarah fights back and stabs Pino with a screwdriver. Noah recovers, and together they destroy Pino once and for all. Sarah, Noah, and Derek escape the toy store alive. But as they leave, the eyes of another unfinished robot flicker to life. Part 5 is less slasher and more evil toy sci-fi horror, borrowing heavily from killer doll movies and mad scientist tropes. Santa is barely present. By this point, the series has completely reinvented itself again. Silent Night, 2012. Part 6 is a loose reboot, new town, new killer, new Santa. But the core idea is the same. If you're naughty, Santa is coming for you. In the town of Cryer, Wisconsin, a mysterious man suits up as Santa Claus. His first victim is Deputy Kevin Jordan, who's having an affair with a married woman. Santa electrocutes him with Christmas lights, and the message is clear. This Santa punishes sin. With Jordan missing, Deputy Aubrey Bradamore is called in on her day off. She's new, grieving the recent death of her husband, and haunted by the legacy of her father, a respected former sheriff. Aubrey finds Jordan's mutilated body and later discovers the woman he was with dismembered. The killings escalate quickly. The killer targets anyone he deems naughty. A cruel teenage girl is killed with a cattle prod. A motel porn shoot ends in brutal murder. A woman hiding at a Christmas tree farm loses her leg to an axe and is fed into a wood chipper. And a corrupt priest stealing donations is executed in church. This Santa isn't random. He's moralistic and relentless. Aubrey suspects a local drug dealer, Stein Carson, but the case spirals. The mayor, his daughter, and her boyfriend are slaughtered. During the town's Christmas parade, Aubrey can't identify the killer among dozens of Santa suits. Suspects pile up, bodies pile higher. Clues finally point toward a chilling pattern: coal-filled gift boxes sent to Aubrey's father and the police station. When Aubrey reaches her parents' home, she finds her father disemboweled. The killer then attacks the police station directly. One deputy is axed. The sheriff is burned alive with a flamethrower. Another suspect is beaten to death. Aubrey and a secretary barely survive as the station is set ablaze. Aubrey fights back and sets Santa on fire, but he escapes. The killer is revealed to be Ronald Jones Jr., a chimney repairman. Years earlier, his father burned Ronald Jr.'s mother alive at a Christmas party using a flamethrower. Aubrey's father was the responding officer who killed Ronald Sr., while young Ronald Jr. watched from the truck. That trauma broke him. Now, dressed as Santa, Ronald Jr. seeks revenge, hiding in plain sight during Christmas. Ronald Jones Jr. leaves Cryer alive. Santa survives. Because in this franchise, Christmas punishment never really ends. Silent Night, Deadly Night, 2025. After 40 years of killer Santas, cults, toys, and reboots, Silent Night, Deadly Night, 2025 goes back to the beginning, but with a modern twist. Once again, the story starts with Billy Chapman. On Christmas Eve, Billy watches in horror as his parents are murdered by a man dressed as Santa Claus on a remote road. The killer is later revealed to be Charlie, a janitor from Billy's grandfather's care home. As Charlie is dying, Billy touches him and an electrical surge passes between them. Something transfers in that moment. Billy survives, but he's never alone again. Years later, Billy lives as a drifter, avoiding attachments and moving from town to town. Every Christmas, Charlie's disembodied voice returns, urging Billy to punish the naughty. This reboot redefines naughty. Billy doesn't target random sinners. He targets murderers. Charlie guides him using a ritual tied to an advent calendar, 1 kill per day leading up to Christmas. Each murder brings Billy closer to something he doesn't fully understand. Billy arrives in the town of Hackett and takes a job at a Christmas shop owned by Mr. Sims. There, he meets Pamela Sims, and the two begin a genuine romance. Pam challenges Billy. She pushes him to open up, confront his trauma, and imagine a life beyond violence. For the first time, Billy considered stopping, but Christmas isn't finished with him yet. As the advent calendar fills, Billy continues killing, including a large-scale massacre at a secret neo-Nazi Christmas party, one of the film's most outrageous and darkly comedic set pieces. At the same time, the town panics over missing children and a mysterious abductor known as the Snatcher. Pam's abusive ex-boyfriend Max, now a state trooper, becomes suspicious of Billy as bodies pile up around him. When Pam's father is murdered on camera while investigating a kidnapped child, Pam is shattered. Billy offers to fulfill her Christmas wish. On the way, Billy finally confesses everything: the voice, the electrical surge, and how Charlie acts as a twisted father figure, showing him who deserves punishment. Pam believes him and chooses to stay. Unlike the original film's bleak psychological horror, Part 7 leans into action-heavy set pieces, dark humor, a romantic core, and a shared trauma narrative. It's lighter, faster, and more self-aware, but still very much Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's every Silent Night, Deadly Night movie explained. What started as a bleak psychological slasher about childhood trauma somehow transformed into killer Santas, killer brothers, psychic visions, cults, evil toys, vigilante justice, and finally, a modern reboot where the curse of Santa literally gets passed on. Few horror franchises reinvent themselves this aggressively, and almost none do it this chaotically. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which Silent Night, Deadly Night movie is your favorite. If you want more deep dives into messy horror franchises, I'll see you next time. Until then, stay good because Santa's watching.